Hello, hello, and welcome to Black Sky Legion, episode 109. Zero Prep, episode 8. Yeah, that's a whole mouthful there. Probably, I don't know, maybe want to look into that naming structure. I am your host, Kai Zen, and happy Halloween, everybody. I'm I'm drinking a little hard lemonade, and I got a dragon's milk in the chamber. And we're just chilling out, as you can see by the screen. I'm playing New World. I got to get control of it on. We're going to look into how to do a thing where we sort of cut off the sides of the screen, like crop it and change whatever so that it doesn't have this bar look where the top of it has to be empty. But as it stands now, if we don't do this, then it has that weird, like, smushed look, and everybody freaks out and says in the chat, like, "Oh, your star looks all weird, whatever." So, this is, you know, yeah. Um, so, anyways, this is this. I see in the chat, Marianne Sloda asking, do we stream Star Citizen? We haven't been. We've just been doing the Friday night show where we talk Star Citizen news and we, just it's like a general whatever. But I think we're actually going to start. I think that's a thing coming up here with 3.15 when it hits PU. I think we're going to do some Star Citizen playing. We've actually talked about the idea of like making a crew and having like the continuing adventures of where there's 3 or 4 of us in multi-crew and we're basically acting out Firefly. We're playing missions and doing our stuff, so stay tuned for that. So with me tonight, we've got Ben is not here. He's with family doing family stuffs. And Suv is going to be joining us shortly. In Europe, they just changed their clocks back today. America has not yet until like next week. So there was some miscommunication. He'll be joining us shortly when he can. But we do have WOLFDRAGON in the house. Say hi to the beautiful people, Wolf.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I see we got Pixie Wifey in the chat. Hello, Pixie Wifey. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. What are you drinking, Wolf? What you having?
Right now I have a Monster Chaotic because I'm trying to catch up on caffeine withdrawal.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We also have ARKHAVEN in the house. Say hi to the beautiful people, Ark.
What's up, everybody? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloweeny. And Ark is an American who is, as we speak, living in Europe. So he's already dealt with the time change. But as you guys have known, Ark is a regular with us from New World stuff. He's one of the core crew in the New World group, and we're always happy to have him. And I just added him to the roster for Zero Prep because he's always good. So we're gonna just have him joining us. Hey, Dunkle Orr in the chat. How are you, brother? I hope that you and Pixie Wifey are having a good time. So we got, like I said, as we do this show, it's very, very loose. It's very, very chill. We talk about whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So right off the bat, it's Halloween. Has anybody seen any good scary movies or anything?
I recently rewatched Lazarus Effect because it's got Olivia Wilde in it, and she's always fun to.
Is that the one that
Fun
Ben
to watch.
posted in the Zero Prep channel?
That's the one I posted.
Oh.
It's got her with blacked out eyes. I mean, there's always like the classics, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are always good Halloween horror movies. It's hard to find good new horror movies. Lots of them are just kind of cheesy. Lots of them are more thrillers than anything. Which if that's what you're after. But no, I want something that's like no shit, like scares the shit out of you. And yeah, that one does it. It'll get you going at 3 a.m. when you're not really paying attention, and all of a sudden there's a fucking demon on the screen.
Nice, nice. What about you, Ark? Any good scary movies lately? Any whatever?
Yeah, my wife wanted to look into. I don't know if you saw the remake of Freaky Friday with Vince Vaughn.
I did not.
pretty cool. It's it's cool for two reasons. First, it's well, Vince Vaughn's in it, right? So that makes it cool. But the first Freaky Friday was more of like a teen kind of flick with mother daughter. I think Sigourney
Like a
Weaver was
body
the
swap?
mother. Yeah, that's right. So
I
the
thought it was
same
Jamie
thing.
Lee Curtis and
Oh, that's right.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, that's right. Jamie Lee Curtis. My
Well,
bad.
when you say the first one, you do realize there was one like in the 60s, right? There was that one was a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is the one I was talking about, but the second one is more like that mixed with Chucky, because Vince Vaughn is like a serial killer, and I won't spoil it, but essentially the whole gist of the movie and what you get in the previews anyway is he uses this like Aztec kind of knife, and it somehow switches their body. So the entire time Vince Vaughn is playing this 17-year-old girl. That's how he's acting. And she is Vince Vaughn is like a serial killer, and it's like a comedy / like super horror.
Oh wow, they took a left turn with that one.
It's definitely not PG-13. So it's cool for two reasons. One, it's a cool movie, and Vince Vaughn's in it. But the other piece is they took a movie and redid it in a completely different genre, more hardcore horror versus comedy and teen flick.
Interesting.
That was pretty cool.
Very interesting. For me, the scariest thing still is whenever you see anybody's wedding videos. That just scares the living shit out of me. I thought, so here's an idea of like what I would want as a horror movie. But the problem is, I can already foresee this as being a problem. But I'll pitch you the plot, and then I'll tell you why I hope nobody ever makes it. So the plot is, you know how they have all of these, they have them all over in the suburbs around Philly. You have these, for Halloween, you have these haunted house things. So it's like you go there, and it's like, oh, it's some kind of a cornfield maze or whatever. And you go, and you pay $20 and another $10 for parking and whatever. And you're out there in this, haunted hayride or haunted house, haunted, maze, haunted whatever. And they're always kind of kitschy. They've got guys running around in masks with the chainsaws, but there's no blades on the whatever, so they can walk right up to you and like nobody's going to get hurt. And they've got, the people that scare you. You walk through, and there's, sheets hanging down to like separate different doorways, so you walk through, you can't see what's ahead, and somebody jumps out and all of that. So I think what would be a cool movie would be if you have the plot of like, okay, there's some psychotic serial killers or, like school shooter type wackadoodles that they go to one of those haunted mazes or hayrides or houses, a haunted house somewhere. They kill the people that are running it. And then on the night of, Friday night, everybody goes there. People are going through, and like most of the people, like 9 out of every 10 people go through and whatever, but they pick a straggler every now and again and fucking, for legit fucking stab them and pull them in, whatever. And I think that would be because demons like Freddy Krueger and Jason and whatever, that shit doesn't scare me because it's like, that's not going to happen. But the idea of like mentally ill, homicidal, whatever people doing a scam and then actually like, that's a thing that could legitimately happen. And I think that would be, whoo. And here's why I kind of think like, oh, don't make it, is because if you do make it, I think it would catch on. It would be really popular, and you'd be about 5 years away from some really sad story of some wackadoodles really doing it.
I mean, you're not wrong with that thought.
I think the
dumb motherfuckers out there.
I throw out the idea, and everybody's just dead silence. Everybody's like, "Oh, you are a dark motherfucker."
Wow, that's a turn.
Well, anything real, right? Anything that can really happen that you could be a realist with is scary stuff. And that could happen, and someone would probably do it, and someone listening to this show might do it. Well done, Kai.
Well, no.
It's Kai's fault.
Nope.
Everyone heard it here first.
Nope. Here's the thing: they're not going to make the movie, and if it doesn't get popular, then it's not going to come to the wackadoodles' attention. It'd have to actually get made.
That's true. Nobody's making any movies right now that are a new idea. Let's put it that way. Everything's a fucking remake of a remake right now. It's completely irritating. It's like, oh, what's on? Nothing. I've seen them all before.
Yeah. All right, so that's Halloween. Oh, Pixie Wifey, what scares me? What scares me is marriage. The idea that you could make a legally binding contract that says that if for any reason two people fall out of love for any reason at any point in the future, she gets half my stuff. That scares the living shit out of me. So yeah. Um, YouTube videos of shadow people freak me. I don't even know what a shadow person is, but whatever, we'll see. I'm gonna get subjected to some scary here in a few hours because I'm joining the Soul Citizens crowd, and we're gonna do, I don't know, some kind of thing. They gifted me these games on Steam that are supposed to be super scary games, and it's like, they were like, "Hey, can you join?" And I was like, I kind of would rather be playing New World, but I love you guys. I can help out if you need, like, but if you don't need, I'm more than happy to sit out because I want to be playing New World. And they're like, we need. Nobody's brave enough to play. Everybody's scared of these. And I'm like, I'm not. How am I going to be scared of a game? Like, no, I'm good. Whatever, I'll do it. Whatever. But
Did they give you the? Is it all like regular desktop games or is it like VR stuff?
Steam.
'Cause,
It's Steam games, so I don't have VR. But we're
okay, so
we're
you're
gonna,
not going to be playing what's that game that Pixie was playing for a while there? Phantasmaphobia or something? I don't know.
no
Some VR horror game that nope.
no it's
Even if I could see the VR headset, nope.
No, it's some other games, but it's supposed to be spooky. My thing is though, like whenever I get into one of those games, like I don't do well in those games because I'm always, the Marine in me comes out. I'm like, I'm not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with me. Let me find some weapons. Let's find some tools. I'm gonna kill these things. And it's like, it's like, that's not, the way the games aren't set up for that. Like the bad guy doesn't even have a health bar probably. So I'm gonna be running around like I found a shotgun. Now I can kill it, and I'm trying to hunt the thing that you're supposed to be running away from. So I do shitty with those games because I don't follow what are supposed to be the rules. To me, I'm a big believer of the Predator line. If it bleeds, we can kill it. So it's like I'm trying to, with those, everybody else is running away, and I'm trying to say like, all right, how can we get a kill zone for this fucker? So I'll probably do very badly, but whatever. We'll go. We'll have a few laughs, have a few drinks, whatever. So let's take a minute and talk about Dune. Everybody here's seen Dune now, right? Out of the three, yeah. So we're not gonna spoiler shit, just in case you're worried. But it's been out. We've all seen it. I thought it was a masterpiece. I absolutely loved it, and I feel like Denis Villeneuve got to do, yeah, of course, that too. I feel like he got to do what David Lynch wanted. David Lynch was like, we're going to do this in multiple parts. And Dilo De Laurentiis and the studio were like, fuck you, we're doing what we want. And they just threw it all out as one big mess. And I love it, but it's a big mess. Whereas Villeneuve, he put out like, it was paced perfectly. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, but it feels like it's not. It feels like an hour and 20 minutes. It ends and you're like, wait, what? I wanted more. They came to him and they're like, hey, we want you to do the movie. And he was like, all right, but the only way I'm doing it is if we do it in 2 parts. And they're like, no, you're doing it in 1. He was like, all right, well, have fun making a movie. And they were like, okay, fine, we'll let you do it in 2. And it just perfect choice. They've already greenlit the second one. It's done so well. They've already greenlit, and they say the second one is being released like November 2023 or whatever. I am super psyched. So let's bring in Ark first. What'd you think, brother?
Oh man, I was so stoked, and I was probably on the last 25, 30 minutes of the movie, and then, like something just like screwed up my VPN.
Oh no!
It stopped, and I had to go through like 15 different corrective actions to get everything working again. But I got it back up. But I just wanted to watch the next one, man. As soon as that was done, and I've never read the book series, so it's very rare that I watch a movie and then I'm like, I got to read that book. That's how it was for me with Game of Thrones. And now that's exactly what I would do with Dune. I thought it was cast perfectly. I thought the visual effects were amazing. I thought it told a story that was very compelling and interesting. And yeah, I'm a big Timothée Chalamet fan. And from that, I forget the name of it, but that movie where he's like the king in England or something like that.
Bro, I had never heard of that kid, but holy shit was he good. I got
Yeah.
to find that King of England movie now.
It's really good. Anyway,
We're
it was
talking about
great.
the actor who played
The boy.
I think it's called
young
The King.
Atreides,
Paul
right?
Atreides, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What'd you say you think it's
It was
called?
great. I think it is called like The King or something like that. I'll dig into it. I'll let you know. But it was
Nice.
great, man. Definitely, you're not going to go wrong going to watch that movie. You're going to want to see the next one, and hopefully, and I found out. I watched an interview with him and the gal's name's Zendara, is it?
Zendaya.
Zendaya, and they have not filmed it all. This, like, remember the other day we were talking, we wondered if maybe they had pre-filmed some stuff, but
No, they
they have
didn't.
not.
They storyboarded it and they set it all up. And Villeneuve wanted to film it all the Peter Jackson style, but they were like, "No, you can set it up and plan it, but don't. We're not spending money on you filming part 2 until we decide if it's good enough." And when it came out and the reaction that it got and the money that it made, they were like, "Okay, yep, you're greenlit. Go for it."
Yeah,
I think
I
it
hope
got
they.
greenlit with the opening weekend.
Yeah.
They needed 380 some million, I read, and they got with the international, like the world sales at 230 something already. But anyway, bottom line is it's great. I can't wait for the second one. I just hope they're able to get it out in a reasonable time.
Well, they
You
put
know, like next year.
they put
By
the
reasonable time, I mean next year.
they put the release date for it of November of 2023. That's the release date.
Ugh.
Hoping
Yeah.
they make that, but to me that seems sporty.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't see. It depends. To me, so that would be actually really short arc if it weren't for the fact that they had already, the director and the group, they had planned on this from jump. Like if you were to start it now and say, "Hey man, go make a movie, release November 2023," that's tight, super tight. But because they had already sort of planned it all out, it's not that bad. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just too excited, man. I'm like, that's my problem. I just want to see it, so I'll say anything to see it. Do anything.
Yeah. It's legit good stuff. I'm super psyched. Now there were a couple things that I was like, I wish they had a little more of Thu Van Hauer and a little more of the whole story from the book of how like Paul was being groomed to be like he's the Kwisatz and he's also like he's been being groomed. He's like a best of everything character, and he was being groomed to be a mentat, and they didn't really get into too much to what the mentats were. I want to ask you, Art, because it's just somebody who hasn't read the book or whatever. Do you get at all what I'm saying when I say mentat?
No.
So, in the books, basically the history of Dune is a thing where there had been this like AI thing that had happened before, and then they had like outlawed it, and they like outlawed like robot stuff, like computer AI robots and whatnot, and instead they use chemicals and whatever to sharpen the minds and the mental facilities of certain people that they call mentats. Remember how? So Baron Harkonnen had that one dude that was talking to the guy and whatever, and House Atreides had the kind of real like light-skinned black guy, kind of a little heavier set that he was always in that army outfit, and he's the guy that.
Yep.
Yeah. So how sometimes you would see their like eyes roll back, and they would be like, he would ask a question like, "Hey, how much does this cost?" And the guy would be like, his eyes would roll back, and he'd be like, 42,783,212 credits. Like that's because those are mentats. Those are like living human sort of computer hybrids.
Yeah, that totally blew by me watching the thing. I I didn't get that. I didn't get that part for sure.
Yeah, and but it's a deal where it's like there's so much to that story between Dune, Children of Dune, Heretics of Dune, Dune Chapter House. There's so much to the story that they're like. I thought that what they picked out and what they brought forth was just an absolute perfectly paced, perfectly whatever. Like this is gonna get you super interested. And now join the Dune family. Come read the book, see the other movies, see the sci-fi miniseries from like 20 years ago or whatever with William Hurt playing Leto. Like it's really, I thought it was really just super, super well done, and I loved it. Um, you guys, I talked a lot. You guys, some more Dune thoughts before we wrap this up.
SOUVARINE has joined the chat.
Hey, Soof.
Ooh. Hey.
We are
Sorry, I'm late.
we are just. Oh, your sound is a little weird. We're just talking about Dune and what we thought. Hop in with your thoughts, and this is a non-spoilery.
I haven't seen it, so I've got no thoughts at all, sadly.
Oh,
hold on.
I've got tickets to book it tomorrow night.
Hold on, Soof. Hold on. Your sound is blowing people's ears out. Hold on. Try now.
I'm using a different microphone. I'm using the mic on my Yeti mic on my desk, which I don't usually use for the show, but it is better, so the sound should be better.
The sound is better. You were just way too loud. Now you're good. Yeah,
cool. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't watched Dune yet, and but I've got tickets to watch it tomorrow night. Sadly, I have kind of double booked myself because I'm part of a regular Warhammer RPG game on Mondays, and I stupidly said yes to go to Dune with some friends before I check my diary. So I'm gonna have to cancel one of those two. But I'm hoping to make Dune tomorrow because everybody I know says it's brilliant.
Oh, so good. All right. And the previous subject that we had hit was Halloween and spooky movies and Halloween stuffs. You got any good Halloween spooky movie recommendations for people?
Fuck yeah. I was hoping that we were going to talk about horror movies a lot because it would be topical and thematic. I can talk for hours about horror films. Most of my favorite films are horror films. So yeah, I can give you a roundup of my favorites. I can
give us top three.
I can top three. Oh, okay, right. Well, these are pretty unusual and quite atypical. Okay, so I love Hellraiser 2. I think the Hellraiser series is fantastic and criminally underrated. Yes, it's gross, and yes, the effects are completely crap, and it's so schlockily 80s that I totally forgive anybody who says it's not their thing. But something about the second film, it's got a brilliant mythos. It's got this really cool supernatural sort of internally consistent world that it draws you into, and it's horrifying. It's got a brilliant villain, cracking anti-heroes. It's got characters who are in the previous one were horrifying, become not heroes but at least sympathetic. It's got incredible set, brilliant premises. It's just a brilliant film. And Clive Barker is one of the best horror writers of the last 100 years. Another one is Silent Hill from 2006, which is the film of the Silent Hill PlayStation 2 game, which has no right being as good as it is. It is a not a particularly high budget video game film.
And video game films in general suck, but this one was really good.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got a friend who, if you play the horns for the warning horns from Silent Hill, he becomes a non-functional human being for a few minutes.
That
movie shook him to the core, and that sound is the trigger for him reliving every minute of that.
Yeah. Wow. It's a brilliant, like it takes a lot of iconography from the game, like loads of the sounds and the monsters and settings and like loads of the motifs are lifted straight from the game. But that's great because the game is, I didn't actually play the game, sadly. I didn't have it on PS2 at the time, but that doesn't matter because the game is iconic. It's one of the best horror games ever made, and it is still held up as a brilliant example of incredibly original world design. And whereas a lot of Western horror games tend to draw on quite derivative tropes, that game and a lot of games that came out, horror games that came out of that era, are so much more original and thought provoking, and therefore terrifying. And Silent Hill, I'm certainly not going to be handing out theoretical Oscars for any performances, but the writing, the monster design, the plotting, the pace, the eeriness, the general feel of it is just terrifying and just a brilliant dark fantasy. Brilliant film. And then the third one is probably, I can't decide which one I prefer between The Thing and
John
Event
Carpenter's,
Horizon.
obviously.
Jump up
Oh
and
no, Event Horizon's got to beat the thing. Come on.
That-
Now.
What?
They're both
What?
fantastic.
That
Both
you
fantastic.
you watch your mouth, Wolf. To say, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Event Horizon isn't amazing, but The Thing is also John Carpenter's The Thing is so underrated by so many people. But then the people that get it get it.
It's a brilliant film.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I don't
full of
know,
magic.
man. Event Horizon just brings in a level of sci-fi shit gone horribly wrong that just it feels more real, and it's that gets me.
I want to add one to the conversation, and I brought this up, and we were talking about it about a week or two ago. There's a movie that is criminally underrated. It's interesting. It's not your standard sort of horror. It's a weird whatever. It's called The Last Days on Mars, and it stars the guy. What's that guy? Ray Donovan. Who's that dude? I love that guy, but I just whenever you see commercials for Ray Donovan on HBO or whatever, it's always that one chick with her weird Irish accent. You know, hey Ray Donovan. There's a certain Boston Irish American accent that is very. When I just because I realize now that we have a lot of European people, and when I say Irish accent and I go Ray Donovan, people are going to be like, that is not what Irish people sound like, but it's a Boston Irish thing. But The Last Days on Mars is a really neat movie where they're on Mars. It's a mission, whatever. They come across this basically like a fungus, but the fungus has sort of zombifying characteristics, and shit goes bad quickly. And the part of why I love it is because I love the main actor in it. What's his name? What's that guy's name from Ray Donovan?
It looks like the main
Liev.
person might be
Liev Schreiber. Yeah, Liev Schreiber.
Yeah.
I love him in everything he's in. He is so underrated. He's such a good actor. But the thing that I like about it is it's sort of like a zombie movie, but where people don't act like a zombie movie. People are acting because it's like it's a bunch of NASA types, and so they're you know they're sort of thinking, and they're not acting like zombie. They're like the hatch works. Oh, we got to help them out. We got to whatever. But then when it finally clicks on them that okay, this is what it is, and it is sort of. I mean, it's not zombies, but for all intents and purposes, it's zombies. It's just like sci-fi zombies. It's like the way that like people start making these choices and reactions and whatever, and it's dark and it's interesting, and and people make self-sacrifices that you wouldn't expect, and other people are make the kind of selfish, fuck you, I'm going to get out of here even though I got a scratch, and maybe I'm okay and maybe I'm not. And, turns out I'm not. Like it's got really interesting I don't know, it's just different. It's not the same campy, tropey, schlocky stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to add that to the list. I've never seen it.
And once you watch this movie, I think you'll probably be a Liev Schreiber fan. There's a couple actors alive today that are just for me. So you've got what's that guy's? You know what? I'm gonna get on a tangent here. We'll let it go. But Liev Schreiber is an amazing actor. So definitely check that out. It's on Amazon. I got it on Amazon Prime or not Amazon Prime, like regular Amazon for like I buy the movie for $5 or whatever. So good shit.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about some Foundation, guys. Who is caught up on Foundation? Again,
Just caught up on it.
Again, we're not going to spoiler. We're not going to spoiler, but like, god damn, they are literally hitting it out of the park every week on this show. Where the last one ended was such a cliffhanger of like, how the hell does that person get to that place? And then how they explained it this week was like, oh, okay, I get it. And it added a whole level of sort of complexity and like characters getting to interact that you didn't think were going to be able to. And oh my God. And then you know, it's the way that they're weaving in multiple stories at the same time, and they're touching on like 3, 4 different books all at once. Like they're doing shit way out of order from the books, way out of. They're just like, we're rolling with our own thing, and I am here for it. Like they literally had some scenes in this week's show that it's like, that's from Foundation. That's from Prelude to Foundation, which was like 6 books later. That's from the second Foundation book. That's from the third. Like, they're all over the place. But the story that they're telling their own story that is true to the original story, but has their own narrative, and it's just brilliant. So good. So okay, Wolf is caught up. Ark, are you watching Foundation?
I'm still waiting to get back to episode 3. I'm on 2. I just finished 2.
Okay, all right. So
I'm
just
at the
from
same position as Ark.
all right, so from you guys, what are your thoughts? Again, non-spoilery, but like, do you recommend it? I know, Suv, you had some qualms on the first episode, and then I think it kind of picked up a little for you. What are you guys thinking of it?
The second episode kind of I don't feel it picked up dramatically. I still really enjoy certain aspects of it. I don't think the writing is very clever. Like the scenes and the visuals are still the best of any sci-fi series I've ever seen. And I really like what they've done with the Emperor, and I really like seeing the way they've visualized an empire. I love the visual motifs that they've used for it. The fact that it's sort of like it's like there's bits of Tudor England in there. There's bits of a lot of the architecture is kind of Art Deco. Like it really feels like it feels like a classical empire, not like a lot of the motifs are kind of from classical history, not science fiction. Which means it's really original and like just brilliant visually. But I just feel like the writing and the plot are really uninspired. Like the scene in episode 2, or I think it's 2, where the Emperor kind of it's a whole kind of will he won't he about what he's going to do in
spoilers.
Yeah, okay, kind of spoilers. Recrimination for the attack on Trantor. I won't say more than that. And I just felt that it was very obviously heavily telegraphed what he was going to do, and the big flashing neon line for the audience was "bad man. He's a bad man." And I just thought, this is like for children. This is so like there's no nuance here. Like you know what's going to happen. Like they make it patently obvious what's going to happen. They make it patently obvious what we're supposed to feel about what's happening. They basically telegraph who we're supposed to think the goodies are and the baddies are. I don't know. I just thought it was a bit. I just feel like it's an incredible sort of visual feast that's slightly been ruined by really childlike plotting so far.
I can't wait to check back in with you after you're caught up, because the point, I think you're missing a point because you've only had the limited experiences of what you've seen so far. The point isn't so much what happened there, but the reverberations and the echoing of that through time, because what you end up seeing then is future generations. So you see that guy later as the old guy who made choices, and you see basically that guy, but he's the grown-up version of what was the kid in the scene that you saw, but he's now that guy, and he's now got this sort of arrogance and dismissiveness of the other guy, because he's telling the other guy, like, you screwed up, and you made a bad call, and yada, and then you see also the reverberations of how that decision, and yes, it was sort of very obvious how it was going to go, but like how that decision played out through generations going forward.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
that's the meat of it. That's the interesting bit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I love themes like that. One of my favorite series is series 1 of Dark on Netflix, which is a German like sci-fi series, and it's basically all about how the choices people make throughout their lives reverberate throughout time.
Mm.
And I just think that is one of my favorite themes to explore in fiction. And it sounds like this will be that on a very epic scale. So I'm looking forward to watching more.
Ark, what did you think from where you're at least?
So I don't have as probably flashy as a response. I really dig it. I haven't had much time for the wife and I to sit down and watch it, and we both want to watch it, and we want to watch it together. So it's just been mismatched schedules that's been holding me back a little bit, man. I dug the cast. I also didn't read this particular book series. I thought it was interesting. I know now just from hearing you and other people talk that there's some time kind of lapsing and back and forth stuff that happens. So, and I don't want to have any spoilers to say. I'm kind of like what I was bummed out about after the second episode, but yeah, I'm gonna get back on it soon.
Hell yeah.
But there's no real reason other than just personal life stuff that's been keeping me from it. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there soon.
Well, and I know, your wife was sort of busy a little bit lately, and then when you did have time, you guys locked it down and got into that Dune together. So yeah, now that you got that.
We put that.
Yeah.
She passed out in the last 20 minutes, so she needs to catch up on the last 20 minutes. So I may just watch the whole thing again to see the last 20 minutes.
That's totally not time wasted right there. Very well spent.
The first week that it came out, I watched Dune 3 times. And I have watched every episode of Foundation more than once. I've different ones, different times, but more than once for all of it, and it is so choice. All right. Does anybody want to get into let's hit the Star Citizen stuff, because there's some good Star Citizen stuff this week. 3.15 has been making massive gains as it goes through the PTU process. It's PTU Wave 2 now. It's about to be PU soon. They added in the recovery. So, with crashes and 30Ks, there's like two separate recovery. There's one where it's like if you DC, you pop up back where you're at. If the server DCs, if the server 30Ks, you pop up back in a bed where you're supposed to be, but you can recall your ship, and you basically don't lose your cargo, which is massive. But if you get shot down, your cargo spills out every place. So cargo gameplay they fixed, and now pirating is fixed in a way that nobody was expecting. They just threw it in there as a shocker. Like, they didn't. The last 6 months of Star Citizen, maybe the last year of Star Citizen, has been them under-promising and over-delivering. They give, hey, we're going to do this or that, and everybody's like, that doesn't sound all that exciting. And then when they get around to doing whatever, it's like, oh, that's way better than you made it sound even. Like, they keep throwing in, oh, yeah, we already got some Gen 12 render stuff in here. Oh, yeah, we got some of this in here. Oh, yeah, we have some limited server meshing aspects. We have parts of the entity graph. We have this, we have that. And they're just hitting it out of the park over and over and over. Like I said, we're going to start streaming soon. We're going to start doing some Star Citizen streams where we do stuff all together out in the verse once it hits PU, and once New World dies down just a little bit, because I'm still, as you can see, we're doing the show now. I'm playing New World because I got to get my my armoring skill up. I'm already capped. I'm already level 60 and have the full epic outfit, but I'm farming up other stuff. But so Star Citizen has just been hitting it out of the park. The IAE is coming up soon, and they've leaked basically like 3 of the new ships that we know are coming now. You've got the Odyssey, the Raft, and the Spartan. Hop in here, guys. Thoughts on PTU? Thoughts on Star Citizen development in general? Thoughts on IAE coming up?
I was really excited to find out what physicalized inventory meant for piracy in 3.15. I was not expecting that at all.
Nobody was. They snuck it in. That was a complete stealth. Oh, and by the way, this is a thing now.
Yeah.
I think they've done an absolutely masterful job at, rather than generating hype, letting their work speak for themselves, because as we know from a few more recent inventions of things, not just in Star Citizen going back in the past, but in other games. That hype train is something that takes some very careful management so it doesn't just blow up in your face. And they have managed to just, hey, we're just gonna put these things in here, and if they don't work, well, we didn't say it was in here, it was a test, blah blah blah, and if it works great, which a lot of them have, hey, here you go, here's some new stuff to play with. And I've been very, very impressed with the dev cycle and the gains that they have made, for like the big thing about not losing your cargo if you desync or whatnot. Like you were saying, that is absolutely huge. I remember when you were live on Discord doing Star Citizen stuff with your mining, and you would lose a ship full of whatever cargo it was that you were hauling to make cash, and like you had the desync and it went away, and you Mr. Grumpy Pants real hardcore for a while, and
Yep.
it was completely earned.
Yeah.
I mean, I would find that to be infuriating, and to be honest, it's those types of instabilities that have kind of kept me away from really wanting to give the game its fair shake, because I fully recognize I threw my $40 in. It's still an alpha. Everything is still heavily being developed. Nothing is ready. There's some definite jankiness with things going on, but from everything that I've read and the various talking heads that I've watched the highlight reels of, and things of that nature, like this is a humongous leap forward. Is the game almost done? Oh hell no. But the game is getting more and more and more playable, and reliably so, with these patches that they've been doing as of late. And it's all good news to me.
Ark, what do you think?
That's a great point.
Yeah, so just kind of like going back to Dune real quick, and how it's linked to this is, I think I mentioned the other day, I was immediately after watching, and I'm the kind of guy, like, I like to play games, like I like to be in the same headspace as the game I'm playing, right? And I like to kind of like the kind of character I play, and the kind of, whether it's in New World, whether it's in Elder Scrolls, whether it's in Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, I want to be like connected to it. I was totally, after they took off from those little mosquito-looking spaceships, I totally wanted to go buy a Talon.
Yeah.
I just instantly thought Talon. I instantly thought, like, and I don't have that ship. I want to go get it, and I want to fly around. And also, I want them to have like dual-wielding swords now in Star Citizen.
Hell yeah.
So I was totally stoked. I totally wanted to go play. The only New World obviously is my kind of main focus right now, but I will get in soon and check some of this gameplay out with Star Citizen, because now, to me, the tactics are important too. And now that it's not like unlimited inventory, and I'm newer to Star Citizen, so I don't know some of the kind of problems that you guys have experienced in the past, and some of the grief you've gone through. But I think it's great that they fix some of those bugs, and I think it's great that like decisions matter, what you're going to bring to a fight, and what 3 or 4 people who are doing a little adventure, what they may bring to the fight. And also, I'm kind of stoked to, start playing live with some of you guys and having the same kind of fun we have here, but in space. That's gonna be pretty cool. I definitely want to jump into some of your escapades.
Hell yeah.
Whenever you start doing your little adventures.
For sure, man. For sure.
Actually, back on the ornithopter for a minute. I think Kai knows this. I'm an aerospace engineer by degree. And when I saw those ornithopters in Dune, it's like, usually when you're watching a sci-fi thing, you see a widget, you see a ship, you see a thing. It's like, oh, okay, that's super high level, made of unobtainium. Just somebody had artwork and they figured out how to animate it and do a thing. I legitimately nerd sniped myself trying to figure out if something like that would be possible to make with what we have now, because they're basically dragonflies.
Yep.
And I actually spent some time looking at it. It's like, no, you'd need some special alloys that could do this kind of stuff to give you this sort of weight and everything. But the level of detail that went into, like, here's how the ship looks like. Here's here's obviously how it's built. It's like that looks pretty damn realistic. And,
Right.
there was other ships that didn't, but I just thought that attention to detail in the movie was just it. I like it.
Right on, right on. Yeah, the ornithopters are great, and that's a thing that's straight from the books. It legit good stuff. Yeah. Suva, it sounded like you had something else on Star Citizen, and then
I think I haven't played 315 yet, but I've been reading with great interest what people on our server who have played it have been saying, and it sounds like it sounds like a huge. It sounds like the first meaningful use of things like iCache. And it feels like a lot of the possibilities of that system are now manifesting in game, which is brilliant. And it also sounds like it also sounds like a lot of the features that were kind of have been vaporware for ages are now things like the physicalized cargo and things are now in terms of like piracy and stuff are now there, and you can fully engage with those systems, and also I think the crash recovery thing is brilliant, and the fact that stability is such a focus is like I feel like that I felt like maybe 2 years ago a corner was turned with Star Citizen when they introduced persistence, and it turned from being kind of project to game in my mind, and I started really enjoying my time with it. And I feel like this is a bit of a similar threshold because, for the reasons I've just said. But I, a bit like Ark, I am really looking forward to jumping into it again with you guys, and sort of more and more playing it very much as a game and less as somebody helping to test a product, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've been saying it. I've been saying it for a hot minute. Like, we all came into this project sort of at exactly the right time, where it's like it's maturing and it's going from being what it was to what it is. And what it is, I totally get that there's some people that have been with the project for a long time and they're a little grumpy. They're like, hey, this is taking too long. Okay, from your standpoint, if you've been with it for years and years and years and years, I get that. But from my standpoint, what I'm seeing as someone who's been with the project for, at this point now, 2 years, under 2 years, and for a lot of the elite refugee types who have been with the project now for 6 months or whatever or less, we're coming in at a time where it's like, maybe before it was too slow for some people's taste, but as it stands now, it is moving at a great pace. So while I completely understand and respect your right to be grumpy if you are one of those sort of older veterans, please understand and respect our right to like what we're seeing, because we do. Yeah.
It's also the other thing that's worth mentioning is that they're on the cusp of crossing 400 million in money raised, which is a staggering amount of money.
And that will happen in this IAE.
Yeah, and it was easily, and it was I'd have thought so anyway. But it was only a year ago, I think, that they crossed 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that, if anything, that shows that it's accelerating. Which is pretty remarkable, seeing as it's a 9-year-old project.
But I feel like it, as I was saying, like the momentum is palpable. Like, it's happening now, and that is drawing more and more interest in dollars and whatever, Yeah,
absolutely. That is probably it. As it becomes more and more of a game, more and more people are saying, "Hey, I can actually." My spending money is not just a vote of confidence in this project. It is also a way for me to have a better time when I'm playing it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, anybody else have anything before we wrap up Star Citizen and move to New World? Please hop in. Feel free. We're just taking this real casual.
Not from me.
All right. I want to say a quick shout out to Wintermute in the chat. Absolutely great. There's an item on YouTube explaining how they designed the ornithopters for Dune. That is awesome. I want to check it out. Megas ALX. Lol, those cannabis plants are huge. Yes, in New World, you get hemp. You get fibers from hemp, and that's, you get ore and hemp and wood and skin animals for leather, and that's how you make your stuff. Little known fact: the first law in America actually revolving hemp or cannabis or weed or whatever you want to call it was that every landowner had to grow it or you got in trouble. The British government had started well, I don't know if they started, whoever started, but the British government were in a war with the French, and they needed hemp to make sails for their ships and to make rope for their ships. So they put a tax out on all the colonial whatever of the Americas that like they had to grow a certain amount of hemp and turn it over, or you got in trouble. You had to pay a fine. So first weed law, make sure you grow it. That I think a lot of people would find surprising, but yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's hop into this new world. So obviously, as I said, you can see I'm playing now. I am crafting like a fiend because I'm just about to unlock the highest level bag that you can, so that I can make it for all of us. Wintermute, you are in the chat of all of our shows. Bro, you're in our Discord. You need to come play this game with us, man. And I want to extend that specifically to Wintermute, but also in a larger sense to everyone. Come join us. We are right now on the Satara server. We are looking at other servers because this server has gone heavy purple. This server, green on this server imploded. So we are looking. We will be moving soon, but they're giving everybody one free server transfer token, and then even after that, server transfers are going to cost $5. They've said that it's going to be $5. So whatever, come join us. We are on US East Satara, but I will say this, we've got SOUVARINE and Ben and Ark and lots of other people that are playing from Europe, and they're able to play just fine. So don't let it stop you that we're U.S. server. The ping on this game is not bad. They have done a masterful job with server stuff. So U.S. East, Satara server, you have to join the green Marauder faction so that you can play with us. And then as soon as you do that, message me when you're in the faction. We can't invite you to the company until you're in our faction because that's how the mechanics of that work. But message me. We will get you in. I would love to have Wintermute come join the family, and BC, and Dunkle Aura, and Pixie Wifey, and Napalm X, and Megas ALX, and just all of the peoples come and join us. So let's get into what's going on this week in New World. Huge week. Patch 1.04 dropped, and it fixed a ton of the shit. So server transfers were borked; they're now working. The high level portals were borked; they're now working. The demon portal, whatever those are called, the corruption
portals.
the outpost rush was borked; it's now working. A bunch of the stuff that they were having with wars where there were like weird glitches and problems, they got tackled. They did a whole response about how like, hey man, the economy seems a little screwy. It's a little off. There's a problem. They're like, yep, we see it. We're taking these steps to address it. It's going to be a process, but we're on it. They like literally throughout this entire process, Amazon has been knocking it out of the park of like, yep, there's any MMO that releases, if it's a big one, if it's an ambitious one, any MMO that releases, they're full of bugs when they release. It always happens. But this one was way more stable and better than most. And most of the problems that they had were endgame problems, and only 93% of the player base are still leveling up. Only like 7% of the player base is at endgame, and they're already fixing the problems before the majority of the player base get to endgame.
Yeah, they're definitely not sitting on their hands on any of this, which is refreshing.
Yeah,
they're working really, really hard, really hard.
So that is sort of, I set the stage with that whole litany of stuff. By the way, for the record, if you have Amazon Prime every 2 weeks you can go get free shit from them just for having Amazon Prime. I collected stuff last week that was the new one, which is the Robin Hood outfit. The hat looks a little meh, but the rest of the outfit actually looks pretty damn cool.
I like the shirt that comes with it.
They before that they had two pirate themed ones. They've got kind of a Halloween type theme ones that seems to be coming up soon, and then I think they're gonna have some kind of a Christmas, New Year, whatever festival thing soon. Good, so that's free shit that's out there. They gave out for Halloween specifically, what do you call it? Like free housing
Furniture,
decorations, the jack-o'-lanterns, and they have other stuff that you can buy if you want. Just all kinds of, all of that. So, all right.
I do like that they said that they weren't going to have a Halloween event because they're working so hard on getting the bugs and everything ironed out. Because, I mean, the game's been out for what, a month and a half?
Yeah.
Of course it's got bugs. But, like, hey, rather than steering our dev team away from this, which is, the important stuff in game, we're going to just we'll catch it on the next time around. Here's the jack-o'-lanterns and stuff. And we're gonna make the game better overall.
Hell yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's there's the bug about the typing in chat window. Basically, you could code in the chat window in global chat. The chat window basically functioned. It was HTML, so you could put code into it, so to like display images or send commands and things. And it was patched and fixed. Like loads of the gaming press were like, oh, this is evidence for why New World is. I feel like the gaming press are incredibly unkind when it comes to New World, and just love to beat.
Well, they're bashing Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, because Amazon's a big juicy target.
Yeah, they're wanting to bash on Amazon as much as they possibly can for, I would say, corporate reasons, which some of them you could say are earned or whatnot, but like jumping on every little thing with the fervor that they have, it's. I mean, I stopped like following most major, like, we're gonna talk about games and here's the good, the bad, and it's like, no, it's all just vitriol and hate, and even for this one, like, it's amplified to a degree that's so much so it's like, guys, like, what? Calm down. just wait a second. But
as if the guys... Sorry, go on.
But nobody wants to, like, cooler heads are not prevailing. Like, I don't understand why that is the new normal for reporting on things.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. It's not like the guys in AGS and Amazon Game Services are the ones setting working conditions in warehouses. Like it really, like, so much of the coverage of Amazon is clearly political and or politically motivated, and is so disconnected from the experience of playing the game. So like I feel like the gaming press will be like, oh, some of the Outpost Rush was disabled for a couple of weeks. God, isn't this another sign of Amazon New World's troubled development? Without saying, like, actually, do you know what? This is launched with record player numbers and is incredibly smooth globally, and is ridiculously polished for a brand new launch. It's like It sort of, I feel like the coverage it's so nitpicky, and it's so clearly motivated by just wanting to bash a big company, and it's frustrating because I know that Amazon Game Services, it's not like they pulled out a load of the board bigwigs and set them to working on Lumberyard. Like they hired a load of game devs with incredible CVs, like a load of the people who designed Ultima Online, I think. Joined Amazon Game Services to help make New World. Like that, it's a completely self-contained thing, and these are real people, really passionate, smart people who have made this game after thinking long and hard about what kind of game they wanted to make and what kind of features and mechanics they like in games. Like and it's such misplaced anger to for the press to beat down on New World so much. for like what I feel are clearly unrelated reasons.
Of course, but I mean it's one of those things though that I think that first off, the peak concurrent number was like close to 1 million, and their daily concurrent numbers are like 400 grand or whatever. Like they're getting massive numbers. So
weren't they in the I know they're in the top 5. Did they make it into the top 3 of games played daily for those numbers on Steam?
I think it's currently top 3. In fact, I can tell you right now. I'll Google it quickly. It was very high when I checked it a couple of days ago.
The point that I'm making is people can be.
It's currently number 3.
People can be however they want to with, you know, like the gaming press or this one or that one. Oh, New World, and I keep seeing these videos like, is New World going to fail completely? Is New World over? And it's like, look, it's like, hey, bro, look at the numbers. The numbers are fantastic. What are you talking about?
I know. The headlines are all New World has lost loads of players. Like, show me an MMO that does not have its population halve in the month after launch. Like, that's what happens. You buy into it because it's cheap and you're interested in the press. You find out if it's for you, and then you decide either that you really, really love it, or you think, oh, I'm not sure it's for me. Maybe I'll come back in a few months, or it's completely not for me at all. Quickly dropping player numbers is how MMOs work. It's how games work. And the headline should be, oh my god, this game has been in the top 3 of most played on Steam for a month, a literal month. And yet
that's after the lapse of the initial people coming in.
Yeah, that's after sorting the wheat from the chaff and sorting the people who were just curious, but it's not for them, from the people who have decided that they absolutely love it. That's 400,000 people who absolutely love this, and MMOs have typically been a more niche category than most games. The fact that a traditional MMO is in the top 3 is pretty remarkable.
When you look at
just staggered by the negative. It's like putting on cooking the world's best meal, and then somebody going and writing an article about how you'd forgotten to put napkins on the table or something. Just incredible, absolutely incredible.
On top of that, you got a situation where it's like the player numbers, the people that are loving it. Look at the hours that they are racking in on this, and this is Amazon. And they've said clearly they have not hidden what they intend to do. They intend to do what they do with everything else. And what they do with everything else is, we're going to come in, we're going to flood the market with money, we're going to develop, we're going to make stuff, we're going to take over, and we're going to dominate in this market, in this MMO market. And I think we're going to see end of November, early December, we're going to see the first update, and we're going to be seeing them on a monthly to like 30 to 60 day rotation of, hey, new zones, new dungeons, new weapons, new this, new that. A lot of it's already been leaked. It's just incredible. This game is going to be the next big I mean, it's not next, it's now. It is the big thing. But so a lot of people that bought it, because you buy it for whatever, $30, whatever, you own it now, and it doesn't have a monthly whatever. A lot of people, you know, I figured about now people were going to be dropping off, some of them, because it's like, well, I got to go get ready for the next Final Fantasy expansion. And don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy is a fantastic game. So a lot of people are going to drop. But in December, end of November, early December, when New World drops, you know, the Egypt-looking zone, and it has these new dungeons and the Void Gauntlet and all of this new content, it's going to pull a lot back. And then when, you know, 30 to 60 days from there, when the next zone, because there's ancients that are still alive underground, and they've had data mine of information on that, or the Claymore comes out, or the new hatchet tank build with the hatchet and shield, or the dual dagger stuff or the blunderbuss, or the dual pistols, or so much stuff has already been released officially, where they've shown stuff of, oh, this is this, and you see this. I'm not talking about concept art, I'm talking about where they've shown, here's a video, here's them playing the game on a dev build, and hey, look, that guy's got a claymore sword, that guy's got a crossbow. That guy's got a blunderbuss. He's running around with a medieval shotgun up in here. Like, this stuff is coming, and as it continues to come, I think, you know, any MMO when it first drops, there's the whole like WoW vanilla, any MMO when it first drops, there's a limited amount of content at that sort of higher level because, you know, the base game is just get to top level and run a couple dungeons and whatever. As they continue to put out more and more and more of all of this stuff, I think you're going to see already what is already a very large player base in New World just continue to expand and expand. And, you know, WoW is imploding. Final Fantasy 14, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic. They're great. But they're on old legs. They're 10 years in at this point on it. And Naoki Yoshida is already working on the next Final Fantasy project that he's doing that is going to be an all fantasy, no tech stuff. And I'm super excited for that. I'm a huge Naoki Yoshida-san fan. I love that dude. Love what he did with salvaging Final Fantasy. And like I said, all respect to Final Fantasy. But it's a 10-year-old game. And they release content quarterly. Whereas Amazon, with this is a different. This game is basically the graphics of Skyrim, but better. The open world sort of sandboxy nature of original RuneScape, but better. Like, this game is the potential for and it built on Lumberyard, which I think for all of the shit people give it, I see 2 projects on Lumberyard right now. I see New World and Star Citizen, and they both excite the fuck out of me.
The two most exciting and interesting big budget games at the moment are both on Lumberyard.
Yeah. So, Ark, you've been silent so far. Hop in on this.
Yeah. So, 2 things. The first one, just to kind of dovetail off of what you were just talking about. You know, look, I started off in WoW, right, and then I kind of upgraded to ESO, which at the time had new legs and it was doing things different. And I loved WoW, and I played SWTOR before that, which is basically just like WoW. The problem is when a new expansion came out that was interesting to me, because there was that whole panda situation and some other things that happened. I was like, yeah, I'm not playing that madness. But then they had some that demon stuff came out. I just couldn't get back into it because the technology and the nuances that ESO offered, I just couldn't get back into it. Even though I loved the lore, even though I loved those zones, I had a ton of high level characters and investment. That's going to happen the same thing in Final Fantasy. There's going to be some people will be fanboys and gals, and they'll come back into it, and some won't. And those people who won't are going to stick to where they left off. Now, to the press part that you were talking about, look, at the end of the day, all the gamers are still people, they're still humans, and the reality is, in today's world, negativity sells better than positivity, and
Right.
that's what you're going to see. You're going to see everybody.
It sickens me though.
Yeah, it's horrible, and I'm in this sort of behavioral change business, and it's sad, and you're not going to get, you know, the I call it, like in social media, Facebook, like the wheel scroll stop. You got about 9 seconds to get somebody's attention, and you're not going to get it on a good news. You're going to get it on bad news and failure and things like that, because people thrive off that type of shit. The reality is, anybody who plays this game is going to be all for it. It's weird because even sometimes when I'm watching some of these videos and it starts off with some negative thing, and then like some douche jumps on there and he's like, yeah, well, you know, there's lots of bugs and snap. But anyway, let me get you into the show. And then the next 30 minutes of the show is about how much fun he's having Outpush Rush. Like, well done, Toolbag. You know, you started off, got everyone to watch here, but now you've spent hours editing this show that is primarily talking about the game that you are hyping up now. So it's just, that's the world we live in, and that's hopefully, you know, some content developers and creators can get together and start changing the way that is, and get rid of some of the toxicity and the media toxicity and the way we look at products and games, and give developers the space they need to kind of to make the games we want to play.
Absolutely. I see a comment in the chat from Wintermute. I've seen a video about New World which was talking about a problem with the game's economy and a possible deflation situation. That's not correct. It wasn't a possible deflation. It was absolutely 100% concrete. There was deflation in the game. And actually, Amazon has already this last week put out a post commenting on that, saying, so here's just to kind of give you the wind up on what happened here. There was rapid inflation, and there is rapid inflation on almost every MMO ever. That's just a thing. It happens. There was inflation in the alphas and the betas, and even all the way up to the open beta. And they made a ton of choices and key decisions to make changes so that they would combat that. They didn't want to have, I think anyone who's played any MMO in the last decade can tell you about how just everything goes into inflation and then it goes nuts. Like, name me one game where it didn't. It happened in WoW, it happened in Final Fantasy, it happened in so many places. And then you get the bots, and then you get the buy gold here, and you get all of the same shit. It happened in Eve. Eve has done a ton to try to combat the inflation. Then what ends up happening is, it's like the horse is out of the barn, and then so they fix the inflation, but even after they fix the inflation, there's a ton of people that have, millions or billions already, and then it's like they have to try to put in money sinks, and they have to try to figure stuff out. So New World bit the bullet ahead of time, and when they released, they had made multiple changes to the game to combat that inflation, and they did a great job. In fact, they maybe did a little bit too good of a job. And we had what is unheard of in an MMO. We had deflation. I can't think of a single MMO that's dropped. Now, afterwards, when they make changes, you get some deflation. Eve is purposely going through a process to try to make deflation because they're trying to bring things in line. But, I've never heard of an MMO that dropped with that. And so Amazon put out a thing saying, okay, we made good changes to combat inflation. It went a little too far. We're going to fix some of that. So they have already started that process. They've acknowledged it. They've started the process. They've turned back on Outpost Rush, which was down because they were working on a thing. That puts in, you can, in Outpost Rush, go do it. And it's a 30-minute. It could be as much as 40 minutes, 45 minutes max, but a lot of times it's done in 20 to 30 minutes. You earn a couple hundred gold. That right there is massive to fixing the issue that they had. In addition to that, there's other things that they've turned on, and they've acknowledged hey, there's more to go. We're going to do it, but we're not going to turn everything on immediately. The way that they're doing things with this is very agile development. They are constantly tweaking and turning knobs this way and that way, and it's a little more, a little less, a little more, and they're finding the sweet spots on a lot of these things. So that, just to answer your thing, Wintermeat, on that. And let me ask from the cast now, have you seen, because I've already noticed some of the prices are starting to go up, because I think the way that this game is envisioned is that you're not going to have level 60s as much running around, picking up rocks off the ground to make bricks. The point is supposed to be that the level 60s are doing Outpost Rush, are doing, invasions, are doing this, that, and the other, and making, hundreds of dollars, and then turning around and buying the rocks for as it stands, everything's been a penny, and everybody's been running around gathering stuff because everybody was afraid to spend their money, because you pay rent, you pay this, you pay that, your repair costs at level 60. Jesus, my repair costs are nuts. And so everybody's been super stingy, holding on to all of their cash because they didn't have enough, and there was fear of oh, I'm not going to have enough, and then something's going to happen, and I'm going to FOMO, I'm going to miss out. But already with Outpost Rush being back, I know, Ark, you did several yesterday, I did several yesterday, we made hundreds of dollars each run. I feel and if you look on the boards, the economy's starting to pop up. So, guys, get in on this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ark, you go first, and then I'll check in.
No, I was just gonna say so there's been at least 2 or 3 instances where I get logged into a game, it's already in session, and I'm playing 2-3 minutes, and I walk out with anywhere from 270 to 360 gold, plus 200 some odd Azov, plus based on your gear score, some high gear component that you can break down. Plus, at when you're at this level, everything you break down, which you're breaking down a lot of gear, It goes between 150 gold to 2 gold each. So I'm seeing what you're talking about. I'm seeing some prices, especially for some of the things that are a little bit grindier to get, the herbs and things like that. They're starting to go up because nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to farm the crates for gear. They want to run dungeons. They want to do wars, invasions. They want to do PvP. Dude, I'm gonna tell you, the amount of things that are in the end game to do is insane. Let's look at a successful MMO, right? Look at Warcraft, look at ESO, look at SWTOR. End game equals some dailies, maybe some raids, and then there's some dungeons. Maybe there's like heroic mode or whatever. But after a while, you're just doing the same thing all the time. In this game, there's so many things to do at end game, so many different things to take a look at. All the crafting is still relevant. Where in most games, the crafting isn't really relevant anymore, except for pots.
The best pieces in the game, all of them, are crafted. You have to run dungeons and do stuff to get the mats to make them, but all of the best everything in this game is crafted.
That's right. Even if you like PvP, PvE, like the Outpost Rush has components of both of them mixed together, working together. I mean, there is so much stuff to do and different stuff in this game. Anybody who says like, oh, Amazon doesn't have anything ready, they don't know what they're talking about. They probably don't have an in-game character.
There's tons of people that will tell you, oh, there's nothing there. And all of the people that actually have played the game that have a clue, that's in life. You're always going to run into people that will give you their opinion. Always look into, hey, what qualifies you to have a fucking opinion on this? Because if you have all kinds of opinions on the game and you've never played the game, maybe ask some people that play the game. Maybe even
come talk to us. We're in game.
Suv, I know you had something. Go for it.
So two things. One, I feel like the real story of New World is Studio's first game is one of the most stable and smooth launches for years, and delivers a genuinely next generation MMO that has more in common with most of the last 10 years' most groundbreaking single player RPGs than it does the typical WoW formula MMO that, and retains 400,000 players a month after launch, and is in the top 3 most played games on Steam. That is the real story of New World. So like, ignore YouTubers trying to get clicks and magazines kicking their least favorite conglomerate. Like the real story is that this is a revolutionary success. The other point I wanted to make about deflation, the Outpost Rush that these guys are, and that actually these guys have already explained this, but I thought it's worth just putting out explicitly in because it's quite important. This Outpost Rush feature that Ark was doing and Kai was talking about is something that you can only do at level 60, and it pays up to 600 gold for doing it, and apparently it's really, really good fun. I've not done it yet, but I look forward to doing it. 600 gold in New World is a huge amount of money. I don't think there's anything else in the game that pays that much. Outpost Rush was turned off until last week, I think, because there was a bug with it. So the single biggest earning ability for late game players wasn't working. That's the root of this deflation problem in New World. That the most powerful way to bring new money into the game for late game players wasn't working. So it's not that there is or was a structural problem with the economy in New World. The economy in New World is fine. The problem was a bug that's now been fixed.
And on top of that, there's a situation where it's been fixed where 93% of the players aren't even able to, they're not there yet. Like, I've seen basically my experience with New World for the last month, for its first month of release has been this. All week is this the problem that's going to kill New World? They don't have it done yet. And then Amazon fixes it that week with a patch, and then next week there's a new, is this the thing that's going to kill New World? And it's like, dude, they're just hitting home run after home run fixing their shit. Unlike some other games where it's like, this is broken, we don't know. We'll make a thing and we'll get back to you in 6 months on maybe having it. They're just, oh, here's a problem and now it's fixed. There's a problem and now it's fixed. Like
they're
they're
fixing
killing
They're fixing stuff in hours, not even days. They're fixing the chat thing. They fixed in hours.
Yep. And the whole like, hey man, you go invulnerable if you like minimize the window. This was a weird thing. Hatchet players have an end ability that can make you invulnerable. It's a cheat death thing that makes you not, if you're gonna die, you don't die for like 3 seconds. Well, somebody found somewhere where if you play in Windows mode and you grab the window and you move the window around, so until you let go of moving the window around, your guy just won't die. He'll be invulnerable, and you can stand in a place and be invulnerable. Now, you can't move or attack or do anything, but you can stand there and take 0 damage for 5-10 minutes, so long as you just keep moving around the window. Okay, so that was a thing that, because if you stand in a circle during a war, if you stand in one particular spot, you can just be 100% like invulnerable. So, or if you stand in the spot, like you're gaining towards the flag, towards the win condition. So what ends up happening is I do that. I use that cheat, that exploit. I move around my little screen, and now you can't kill me. Me and 5 of my buddies stand there, and we capture the point regardless of the fact that you should have killed us already. Okay, that was a very serious exploit. Very bad problem. Brand new game. Has holes. They fixed it. Then all people are saying, oh, well, now there's this new thing where if you, like if somebody puts a healing circle on the ground and you now, instead of just standing there in the healing circle taking the tick of the heals, if you go prone, if you lay down and stand up and lay down and stand up and lay down and stand up like 10 times in a second, like every time that heal ticks, heal ticks, heal ticks. So basically, I can, 10 people can try to kill you, and you've got one healing circle on the ground, and if you just keep like in a crazy stupid amount spam, get up, get down, get up, get down, get up, get down, nobody can kill you. That took like 2 days they fixed. Like all of these things, yes, it's a new game, and you're going to find, guess what? Spoiler alert, you're going to find a million more things wrong with it. And so long as, and great, good, God bless you for finding all these exploits, because as soon as people do, then they turn around and, hey man, they fix it. And like, they're just doing such a good job of that. The problems actually, to me, they're not a negative with the game. This is the biggest plus of the game that I see is these guys are fixing shit faster than I've seen anyone fix shit before. So like,
dude,
go ahead.
They're doing yeoman's work, man. This is look. They're look. Go back to the economy thing. They like. When have you seen a game share their like background statistic reports to show you the way the economy works? Right? I mean, they're showing you the things from their perspective and why you shouldn't be that concerned about them, and you just need to give it a little bit more time. They're getting things sorted. They even like I'm shocked that they took the time to put together like Halloween gear that fast after launch. I mean, who's done that before? And ultimately, I guarantee you they're going to do something with Christmas, and that would even be, a kind of a huge gain in terms of like when this launched versus,
it's as if
games.
Amazon sat down and figured out, okay, we're gonna do an MMO. What are the things that people have gotten right in an MMO, and what are the things that people have gotten wrong? And then abstract that out to game dev and interfacing with your community, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I think they're trying to take a best of approach and provide, look, here's a way that you can do it, and here's the way we're doing it, and maybe, just maybe, more devs will see how well this has worked out. Especially with the, hey, this is how long things are taking. We're jumping on them pretty quick. We're getting things done. We're telling you what's going on. Like from a PR standpoint, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that in ever.
And the thing that I'm the only one beating on this drum yet, because everybody's like, oh, we'll wait and see. I'm telling you, end of November, early December at the latest is going to be the first patch. And when the first one drops, people are going to go like, oh, that's different. When the second one drops, another 30 to 60 days from there, and then the third one drops, you're going to see ESO had a shit show of a launch, really just horrifically bad launch, but they put out content at a really good aggressive pace, and they picked up a lot of players as a result of that content launch. I think, and all respect to ESO, I think it's a great game. I think it's fantastic. If you're playing it and loving it, God bless. I'm not talking shit on your game, but New World has better graphics, even more solid base foundation, and when people see that it has that same very, very aggressive content drop, I think you're gonna just see it's gonna over time you're just gonna see more and more people. So there's a lot of people that they're like, well, I haven't got in on it yet. I haven't whatever. I have a lot of my friends that were Star Citizen people, Elite Dangerous people, whatever, that they are now coming to the party. And it's like, oh, you started a couple weeks late, whatever. But like, hey, dude, we're a month in. You can still get in on the ground floor. And believe me, if you do, you're going to be happy. This is just incredible.
I have to say, because you bring up the thing about how you've got Star Citizen friends and Elite Dangerous friends, that, those are, those two games are very similar. And from the standpoint of hey, we're going to go play an MMO, like, that's a huge shift.
Mm-hmm.
And this MMO has gotten those players in on it, and it's like, oh no, this is fun to play. I like this.
Yeah.
It's completely different in every aspect that you can really think of.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah, week one, again, coming back to the same premise of week one, it was, oh, the queues are unbearable. That's going to kill this game. End of week one, they had the queues fixed. Week two is, oh,
God,
the war
fixed them
exploits.
so quickly.
Yeah.
That's the thing that, like, the queues are it's a solved problem now. Like, I've not been in a queue. The longest queue I've been in the last 3 weeks has been one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's astonishing.
Yep. And here's the other thing. People are like, oh, well, that's a sign that the game is dead. And it's like, wait a second. You say there's queues, so that's a problem. And then when the queues go away, that's a problem. And they're like, oh, well, no queues. The game is dead. No, it's not, because I literally logged in this morning, and I was in queue I was position number 3 in queue. I was in queue for like 12 seconds. But still, the point that I was number 3 in queue means that it was at capacity. Like, they are doing such a good job of, like, getting people in, but, like, right at... It's not like, oh, you're in and then it's a ghost town. When you're in and you're running around, you are seeing
There's
people left, right, and center. I'm out in the middle of, like, fields far away from any town, and I keep bumping into these goddamn people stealing my Kemp. But, like, when you go back to the town, like, dude, there's people on people on people in all the towns. Even the not. I mean, yes, you expect to see people in Windsward. You expect to see people in Everfall. You go to Cutlass Keys. You go to First Light. You go to even, Evanscale or this, that, and the other. You're seeing people. Like, it's there's just so much of the foundation of what this game is just, I don't want to say perfect, but, like, next level. The graphics is next level. The sound is next level. The UI.
I was running around First Light, Monarch's Bluff. What's the other starter zone? Just to get all the question marks off my map, so I got all the landmarks charted because, well, I wanted to go see more pretty stuff. So go to the points of interest and the landmarks and go see what's there and walk around. Blah blah blah. I was consistently running into people from this is the starter zone. I was seeing, people who just started playing the game. I was also seeing people who were the same level as me. I'm in my, late 30s now, and I saw a few 60s just running around doing stuff. Like, people are everywhere, and I love how they have put in the crafting system. Hey, you wanna make, this high level whatever? Well, you're gonna need these low level mats also to do it. And granted, if you got the coin, you can just throw it at the market and buy it yourself, or you can go get it, and you're constantly going back to these places you've been before, and it's showing everyone how lively the game is, and it's fantastic, because I hate some of the other games we played where it's like, well, there's no one here.
And I feel like I need to say this because maybe for the whole time we've been talking, I've been playing, And you might go like, this seems boring. All he's doing is killing bison and harvesting hemp. I am grinding my eyeballs out right now because I am in our group. Nobody has the ability to access the highest level bags. I'm the highest level armorer, and I am a dozen levels away. But I've been doing this to get the high enough so I can get the bags so I can make them for our group. The game is not sort of this repetitive of just kill bison, get hemp, kill bison, get hemp. It's only me that's doing this, and I'm doing this to myself right now because I'm a crazy person that needs to have the ability to make all the bags. So I've switched over the video so you can see there's bits of Outpost Rush, there's bits of wars, there's bits of fighting zombies, doing dungeons, cutting down trees, fishing. All there's way more to the game than what I've been doing for the last hour. Don't go by that. I'm a crazy person. But I feel like that disclaimer needed to be made. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't ever watch Kai's stream for inspiration of how to have fun in this game because it will look so grindy.
I already have every gatherer to cap. Every gatherer is at 200. Every most of my refiners are way like close to cap, if not cap. Half of my crafters are in that end game range. I've got already multiple capped 200. Like, yeah, I'm going at it stupid crazy. But like, you don't have to be that guy. The point is, you need to have in your circle of friends one guy that can make the stuff, and it may be like, oh, this guy is a chef, and that girl is a armorer, and this dude is a alchemist, and that chick is a weaponsmith, whatever. I just am doing all of it because I have a mental illness. But whatever. So I just wanted to highlight the fact that like you're seeing on the screen now, the bears, the people fighting the bear, and that you can summon an Outpost Rush, people fighting, doing, the dungeons we've done. I mean, come on, guys. When we did Starstone, all those lasers and that jump puzzle in the middle of a dungeon, and you got to figure out a way to get past that puzzle. The depths with I don't want to give any spoilers or whatever, but like some of the fights in that when we did it at level were buku hard. Just neat mechanics put into the dungeons, neat systems. I feel like I'm running off at the mouth. Somebody hop in, please.
Yeah, two things. First thing, we made a new tune the other day, Suv and I was in a one-person queue in a starter zone. So that tells you there's more players, playing.
That's the perfect amount of queue.
Yeah.
Yep. I was there for maybe, I don't know, 40 seconds, but it was fun, and it was it was more fun to start this new tune over again because it wasn't like first one it was just chaos because we started at launch and everybody's running around like maniacs. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things, there's so many combinations. One of the cool things is that MMOs have problems with are sort of metas. And there is a meta here, but I beat the meta frequently in PvP. It's not the kind of meta that you'd see in some MMOs that you just cannot beat. There's a very high skill cap to the gameplay, and it doesn't matter if you have the perfect meta. This attribute points here, and this follow this tree and do this, and have this weapon and this armor. That's fine, but you still have to be able to play. And it's not just as simple as a rotation. It's about how you move, how you block, where you position yourself. All of those things matter. How you get critical hits. It's not a random dice roll percentage. It's based off of headshots or were you behind somebody or not. All those things matter. So you really can make some interesting builds, and you're not locked into just 2 or 3 that sort of run the show. So that's a really interesting concept too that MMOs have struggled on. And I think this game, especially as they start to add, as Kai mentioned earlier, more weapon types and more abilities to those weapon types, and each you get to carry 2 weapons at a time, so that continues to just increase the variation of folks that you might run into. It's to the point where when I'm PvPing somebody, I have to figure out what the hell I'm up against before I figure out how to play against them. Just because of the various combinations they can do, right? So it's very critical, tactical. Yeah, I mean, and then when you get to Outpost Rush, there's a lot of strategy involved in how you sort of cap the zones too. It's not just zerg everybody to one location, and that's how you take the points. There's a lot of ways to use the environment, the PVE around you, to support the PvP gameplay. So just tons to do, tons to check out. If you don't have the game already, just go fucking get it already.
Bro, Ark,
I
what kind of
do
a
like how they've taken away the one button push win for meta. Like you have to know how to run your stuff.
you have to aim.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you have
Yeah.
to aim. You can't it's not tab targeting of okay, my gear is better than you, so we both run at each other. We both mash, F2, 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 and I win because my gear level is higher. It's no. I dodge. If you're just standing there spamming attack and I roll behind you and light your shit up, you're done, son.
Yeah. Dude, the bow has drop on it. You have to you have to account for elevation and things like that. I mean, that's it in an MMO, right? This isn't a shooter game. We're talking about an MMO that has this. Objects stick. Like I remember one of the coolest experiences I had in the very beginning. I was running on the stone bridge, that one in Woodward where you do the pirate missions. There's that big stone bridge that goes out into the water.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Their
running
core
back
bridge.
away. Yeah, I was running back away, and one of the bosses at the end of that thing has this like trident. And I'm running, and the sounds are amazing in this game. Again, the guy who did Game of Thrones and that one other Western robotic movie,
Westworld.
yeah, Westworld. Like that dude did the sounds for this game. Anyway, I hear this. I hear a whoosh beside my ear, a clank to my left. I look in the stone wall, and his trident sitting right beside where I was. And I'm like, oh shit! So I fucking dodge to the right and start tearing off. I mean, in an MMO, dude, if this is WoW, you know what I mean? There'd be like this little weird flash, and it would go, it would go right through a target and hit me, and I don't know, man. It's just like I said, you got to check the game out. It's
Bro, when
you're hurting yourself if you're not going to check this game out based off what some clown shoe said on YouTube.
you walk through a field, you look up, you see the tree. First off, you see the trees swaying in the breeze. Like, what? They did that? And then B, you hear the trees swaying in the breeze. You hear them creaking and like the wind making a noise. Is like, oh, Jesus. I mean, you guys saw when I was playing, even though I was doing a sort of repetitive loop of like getting hemp, kill bison, getting hemp, get leather, get hemp, get leather. You were seeing the sun rise in the background and the haze and the clouds. And yesterday, I was coming back from like near Amrine, that road on Windsward, and I just looked up and watched birds circling and was like, holy shit, I never noticed that before. Like,
I've been trying to shoot them. I haven't succeeded yet.
yeah, I don't know about that. I think there might be more scenery, but yeah, like maybe. But hey, you can kill peacocks and rabbits and all kinds of other shit. So maybe, who knows? But
Don't you trust his dreams?
hey, man, you do you. You do you. So
Hey, if they put birds in that you can schwack out of the air with a musket or a bow and arrow because they're too high to reach for anything else, I think that deserves a little bit more XP for doing it.
Yeah.
And then you skin them and whatnot, and because they're difficult to hit, you could get a little more XP for that skill.
yeah.
I think to grow.
I think tons of this game in terms of how it feels and how it controls and how the skills work and kind of how the world works is quite heavily inspired by Skyrim. And I've played. I haven't necessarily got a ton of hours in a lot of games. I bounce off a lot of games, but I've played quite a few RPGs and I've put I've tried most MMOs in the last 10 years, and out of every game that I've tried, this game reminds me of Skyrim more than any other. Like this feels like they've made Skyrim the MMO, that I remember in that game the birds that fly over Solitude and stuff like that are physical objects in the game world, and they have hit points and you can kill them. And it really wouldn't surprise me. Like they've done little things like the fact that arrows are physicalized in this game, and the fact that if you get shot with an arrow, you can see it sticking out of your character. It really wouldn't surprise me if somebody's coded the birds to actually have hit points rather than just be a sprite that circles above you.
Bro,
Let me add this to your
bet you
Skyrim
can.
comparison. It's
Sorry,
like Skyrim in nature, right? In terms of it's medieval, there's magic, there's, all these, the way the crafting works. But it to me looks and feels, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to put it out there, and this is a game that has badass graphics, and it shouldn't be compared to MMOs. But I feel like the environments when you're just in the middle of the woods somewhere feels a lot like Red Dead 2. Redemption. I mean, it's just, and that game has amazing graphics. But like the sounds and just being out in the wilderness, and like in that game, you really feel like you're out there. You really feel like you're out here, man. There's some of these zones that sound almost scary to be in, like Ebonscale Reach alone. Jesus, it sounds like some tropical jungle,
Oh yeah.
You don't even know if you have a good headset on. It's got good surround. You get lost, and as you're walking around, you're just lost in what you're looking at, and you don't even know what the hell you're doing.
Bro, when you're doing PvP and you're up north in Great Cleave, you're up in Skyrim territory, and you're like, you hear a musket shot go off far away, but you're like, okay, it was to the right. Okay, now your head is on a swivel, like, all right, is this guy coming to jack me? What I gotta deal with here? I gotta get over here, find these goats. But your head is constantly, like, you'll hear, oh, a tree get chopped down to the left, or you'll hear somebody kill a wolf, and the wolf, it makes that special right when it dies noise to the right, or whatever. Like, you're constantly checking for audio cues as you go through the world, just because it's like, man, I gotta stay alive. I'm PvP flagged. I got a target on my back. Anybody that I come across, you're a threat until proven otherwise. And sometimes people are chill. Sometimes you can do your PvP and you'll see like the same couple of guys, and it's like, all right, I'm not attacking you. You're not attacking me. We're just getting our tokens. We're doing our thing. Okay, fine. But that can change in a second. One guy, we had a situation, Cinnamon and I were running PvP, and there was a group of us. It was Ark, Cinnamon, me, there were Control, there were other people there. There was a group of us, and we were running, and we kept coming across this one purple. What was his name? It was like, he had a name, Tony Pepperoni or something. So Tony Pepperoni, we saw him, and it was like 5 of us running as a squad, and him. And I said flat out, like, we don't hunt yellows on this server. We'll kill purple. Screw purple. But we're not going to kill 5-on-1. That's just dumb. I'm not interested in doing that. So we were 5-on-1, and we just kept seeing Tony Pepperoni in the loop over and over and over. Didn't kill him. He was cool with us. We were cool with him. Whatever. Despite the fact that whenever you see purple and they got you 5-on-1, they'll squash you like a bug.
God, yeah,
fuck purple. Fuck purple. But anyways, we're doing our thing. People start to leave. Next thing you know, it's just me and Cinnamon. We're the last 2 standing. It's everybody else, I'm going to get dinner. Oh, my wife needs blah, 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 whatever. It's just the 2 of us. We're on our last loop. We got the stuff, went up there, got the goats, dropped off the box, did the whatever. We're just at complete. And we got separated. I went to get a node of something. I'm grabbing something, and he's running back, or he whatever. So we're separated. Tony Pepperoni, that dick, turns around and shoots Sin like in the back, and Sin's like, "What the hell? Somebody's attacking me!" And I turn around like boom on a swivel, and come charging up. So Tony, we were separated, and now Tony's like, "Oh, I'm cool with you. Now all of a sudden it's just 1-on-1, and he's got a surprise attack to start it off. So he's like, okay, I'm going to be a dick. He shoots Sin. I come running back. Tony realizes at this point his folly and starts to try to make a run for it. But we put his dick in the dirt. We not only do we knock him down, but we do what we normally don't do. And I fucking hit him with the axe right across the body to like, nope, I'm killing you. Looted his body. And then we went in When we came back, Tony Pepperoni was not in town and he wasn't out there looking for us. He hightailed it out because whatever. Moments like that, times like that, the cool aspect of it. And I don't want to scare anybody off who's like, I'm not into PvP. We flagged for it. We were up for it. We were doing a PvP mission. There, you don't have to do PvP if you don't want to, but it's there if you do. And like, just there's already the list of moments. I want to go through every last one of you. We'll start with Wolf. We'll go to Suv, and then to Ark. Everybody share a moment like that where it's like, man, I had this cool moment, this cool, and it doesn't have to be PvP. It could be a PvE thing. It could be a thing that you saw that you were just like, holy shit, they put this in or they put that in. Share a moment. Go ahead, Wolf.
So I was not paying attention to the map, of course, just walking around, and I was just chopping down trees and doing some harvesting and whatnot. And unbeknownst to myself, I had ended up on like this plateau. So I'm hacking away at this giant damn tree, and it's just me out there. That's, you know, I can tell it's probably getting close to sunrise because the ambient sounds are starting to change. The music hasn't done nothing. And I knocked down this big ass tree, and I just happened to be positioned perfectly such that once that tree got out of my view, I'm looking over this huge valley. There's a mountain on either side, and the sun was peeking up over one of the mountains, just starting to illuminate the valley and everything. I completely forgot what I was doing for about 10 minutes and just watched the sunrise and illuminate the valley and show off all the just glorious art and model work that was in this one spot of the game. And those spots are everywhere.
Hell yeah. SOUVARINE.
I don't know. Cool one right now is I'm playing on an EU server, and my wife is playing in the other room, and I'm level 13, and the boss was level 16, I think. And I was like, I tried to kill him a couple of times, but it was one of the Geist ones, so I really struggle with. And so I messaged her and said, I'm really struggling against this boss, and can you come and help? And she's not played an MMO before, or even I don't think she's even played a multiplayer game before. And she's like, oh, I don't really know how. But then she was like, oh no, I think I can see you on the map. Yeah, okay, yeah, there's a fast travel point there. I can come there. And she came and she's level 20, so she came and wiped the floor with this boss for me. And she's also kind of a tanky build with a healing staff. And,
nice.
Board. So yeah, we just had a great little co-op PvE moment where I was doing range DPS and she was tanking, and it just felt really great that we've never shared this hobby before. We'd never she's not been. She does like some games, but we've never liked any of the same ones before, and we've certainly never found one that we both want to play. And it's a really cool moment that we've managed to find one that appeals. I think it's pretty remarkable that this game appeals to such a wide gamut of players, like such a wide spectrum of players who want such different experiences. Like from a very casual gamer who's not done it before to me, who's probably somewhere in the middle, to some fairly hardcore PvP orientated people who love theory crafting and getting into the weeds of different combat builds and stuff. So it's that's my moment. Just then tonight, her beaming over the map to help me was probably my little moment.
And the PvP in this game is so good with the rock paper scissors, where it's like there's not one meta that in so many games they drop, and it's like they spend years trying to get balance right, and they just don't. In this game, there's so many weapon combos where it's like this beats that, but that beats this, and this beats that, and in the end, skill trumps all. Oh, yeah. Ark.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say Ark's point earlier about skill being. I was saying that he's beaten. So I think there is at the moment, because of it's a new game, there are balancing tweaks to do.
Of course. Always.
The result of that is that there's great axes and heavy armor are heavily overrepresented amongst PvPers because there aren't really. I don't think the stats are quite following. Are quite the stat effects that different armor weights are supposed to have is quite working properly. So there aren't really any penalties for running all heavy armor, and you get a lot of benefits. So a lot of players are running all heavy armor, and the Great Axe is a particularly strong weapon at the moment, with which is viewed as a very solid choice by the PvP crowd. So much so that I've seen people running player groups say in Discord servers, right, we've got a war coming up. I want everybody in heavy armor with Great Axe. So I think I don't think it's true that there is no meta, but I think it is. But I think it would be unfair to say that the game is structurally unbalanced. I think it's just that there is a little bit of tweaking to do, as obviously there would be in any game a month after launch. But I think what Ark said earlier about the fact that in PvP he's been routinely winning fights with people who are running what is currently thought of as the meta is like the biggest. That's the best thing that you could say about the game at the moment. The fact that skill is more important than anything. And yeah, okay, there are balance tweaks to do, but it's very easy to learn, but very hard to master, as all the best games are. And how good you are at it is much more important than any particular weapon or set of armor being super powerful.
Right on. Ark.
Yeah, and just real quickly to your point there's definitely a meta, but as you mentioned there in the last piece, it's very you can do whatever YouTuber X said to do, and YouTubers are always going to tell you the meta is, right, because that's what everyone's looking for. It's just like the diet, right? Everyone's looking for that pill that will help them lose 50 pounds. At the end of the day, though, this is much like the actual diet. The pill plus a whole bunch of hard work is what's going to take for you to be good. Instead of one moment, I think one thing I'd like to illuminate, because what's interesting about this game is it crosses the boundaries between PvE people and PvP people in a unique way. And I'm a father of 3 kids. I'm a busy guy. I work a lot. I don't play as much as probably most of the people that are in our Discord or thing, I would guess. I'm not average. I'm probably a little above average in my gaming play. But I've played this game, I would say about 85% or more flagged in PvP, which most people would tell me constantly, oh, you're never going to get anything done that way, or, that's not efficient if you want to level, if you want to do this or that. I've hit level cap 60, the second person in the company, at 204 hours, which efficient wise is really good in terms of an average player. And I didn't grind. I played the game. I have numerous crafting things that are maxed out at this point, gathering, and some craftings are higher. And I've flagged PvP and played the whole time. And there's been times I've been ganked, and there's been times I've come out of it. There's been times I had to run away. There's been times I've been in one-on-ones and I've won, times I've lost. But the experience is so thrilling and so sort of surreal. Every move I make matters. Every decision I make as I'm playing matters. Every resource I harvest, I have to look around me. Everything counts. In fact, the only time I don't flag is if I'm doing, I'm helping somebody else out that doesn't want to flag PvP or something like that. So you can very much come into this game and have a complete open world experience, as Elite Dangerous people know, as the Open Zoners, All-Star Citizen players know, and have a blast. You will run into people more frequently than you do in those other games, but the majority of the people you run into are not flagged. On the ones that are, it's a dice roll who you meet, but you can definitely do that. And for me, rather than one experience, I'll just tell you that's my collective experience. But by doing this, has really brought me back to the older days of PvP servers, and just like I say, the excitement of every decision I make, every move I make has to be thought about, has to be considered. What's next, or what could be behind that wall or that door, or do I have enough armor to deal with this particular problem set? Do I need to run? Do I need to stay and fight? All those things matter. And then just quickly, the concealment is amazing in this game too. It's not like you just duck down and you're invisible now. if you're wearing some crazy ass colorful situation and you jump into some green grass, or you have some bright color on and you're in the sky or in the snow area and you're trying to play in the prone and hide, they're gonna see you. So, but if you're not, you can drop to the prone in the weeds, and I've had like 20 players just run right by me without hitting a button. I had maybe some of the most energetic and exciting kind of like experiences just watching 20 players hunting me run right past and miss me altogether because I dove at the right moment down, and they just rolled by. I mean, those are experiences I don't think you can get in too many games.
So when he says energetic and exciting, what he means is he shit himself in that bush.
I did. I was like, oh crap.
Right on.
No.
So I think we're gonna start to wrap it up. I do want to say, for those of you in the chat, please continue to ask questions. If you have questions about New World, questions about anything really, because this show that we do, the Sunday show, Zero Prep, is just very relaxed and conversational, and I definitely want to engage tons. I hope that we see some more of you guys join us. Like I said, Wintermute, I know you're in the Discord. Come join us. Come play some New World with us and have some fun. I think next week. Go ahead.
On that, it's I think it's noticeable that all of us here we became friends because of playing a space game or 2 space games, and now we are. Like, we talk about New World a lot on this show, and we really rave about it, and it sounds like we're sort of shilling for it a bit. The one of us who has the least game time is me, and I've still got 120 hours in it. I only own something like 3 games that I've got more than 100 hours of game time in. That's how much I love this. It's like the fact that when we say come and join us, we're not. It's not like we're on commission or something. Like, we are literally having an absolutely brilliant time of the same quality as the first year that we played Elite Dangerous, or when we got into Star Citizen for the first time in a big way and saw the potential of that project. Like, this is absolutely brilliant. It's a fantastic experience, regardless of regardless of whether you prefer kind of space games or fantasy games, and it's delivering the same kind of open world freedom that I've never associated with that I always used to go to games like Elite for. We've got enough game time in it now to be beyond the honeymoon period. We do think this is an absolutely brilliant experience. So if you're on the fence, then hop in and give it a go.
Oh yeah, but unlike Elite, you don't have instancing problems. You can actually get in with all of your friends in this. Unlike Star Citizen, this game is actually complete. It's done. And I'm not saying that to shit on Star Citizen. Star Citizen is amazing, and I fully expect that will be the greatest thing ever when it actually is out, and also give them. They're gonna have the same problems that this game does. Of like, hey, the first month or two, there's all kinds of still things to work on, and they're gonna do that. But that's not in any way to shit on those other games. But the issues that some people have with Star Citizen of like, hey man, it's still in an alpha state. This one isn't. It's out. The myriad of issues with Elite of, hey man, we're showing you problems and it's taking you years to get answers. This one, they are agile as fuck. Or, hey man, I can't do stuff. You can come along with 80 of your closest friends and run around and get in a massive war party and go attacking towns and go doing whatever. Like, you can do amazing shit in this game. So yeah, come join us. Next week, I kind of want to talk about, guys, I want to throw this out here just to whet the appetite for the crowd and also for among the cast. Next week, I want to talk about, we've seen multiple different cultures represented in New World. You see some Viking type looking outfits and gear. You see some conquistador type looking stuff. You see some, Asia stuff in the Ebon Scale Reach. You see, pirates. You see all these different whatever. I want to have a little conversation of what are some what are some cultures that you would like to see represented? Some stuff like, oh, I want to see some Aztec warrior outfit, or I want to see some Zulu tribesmen, or I want to see some, you know, whatever. I want to see a Mongolian whatever. Like, I want to throw out that, and we're also going to talk about some cool like weapon ideas that you would like to see. So I'm throwing that out there to get everybody, you know, have that in your mind, have that ready to whatever. All right, I'm done. Do you guys have anything you want to wrap up before we go? Anybody want to anything? If not, we'll start with Ark. Go ahead and say goodnight to the people, and we'll wrap it up.
I'm good, man. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, and yeah, man. Look forward to next week. We'll get together and talk a little bit about lore and weapons.
Hell yeah, Wolf.
I'm just having an amazing time playing this game. I'm truly surprised how much I really enjoy it, and how both exciting and relaxing it can be, both in the same play session based on what it is I feel like doing. And it is absolutely awesome to have all of you listening in on us sitting around and talking about this and Halloween and Star Citizen. And I hope all of you have an excellent rest of the evening.
Hell yeah, we're gonna have to get into that next week as well. I remember sort of pulling you in reluctantly to this game. You were a little bit like,
Oh, reluctant doesn't describe it.
yeah, and
I was actively avoiding you for a little while talking about the game, and yeah, I was wrong.
Suv.
Nothing from me. Thanks for listening, everybody. Do let us know if you are enjoying our New World coverage, whether there's a particular topic you'd like us to talk about in more depth that you don't know we are, or something that we've never touched on before. We'd be really interested to hear. And until next time, I'll see you next week. And
write in on the chat after the stream ends and the video is now a saved video. Write in on the chat, please. Scary movies and Halloween stuff that you enjoy, and just how much my freaky idea of lunatics taking over a haunted house and actually killing the stragglers would be. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have fun. Ciao. Let me find the thing. Oh, I got hemp. I'm racing for it. Hold on. Got to find the thing.
Hemp.